Hey guys, hopefully I have done this correctly and I am live on the Infinite Game site. Let me know if you're here, say hello to me and there's a thumbs up, and tell me you can hear me okay, because sometimes my Bluetooth doesn't want to connect correctly. So, hey Carol, hey Mike, loud and clear? Yeah? Okay, good. So look, I'm James Arthurray. You might know me from The Secret. You might know my New York Times bestseller, Harmonic Wealth. I hope you do. And I hope you really know about my brand new page, or brand new book rather, called The Business of Redemption. But what I want to talk to you about, hey Natalie and Tony, hey Jeff, I want to talk to you about today is the state of affairs that we're dealing with, and more importantly, and if you know anything about me, I'm a straight shooter, all right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to beat around the bush. So we live in disruptive times. Are you with me? I mean, it feels like it's chaotic right now. Do you feel like you're hurting right now? Are you maybe in a state of shock right now? Well, what the heck happened? What the heck happened? Because you see, we were sailing along into 2020. You had big plans for the year. You maybe, set some intentions in December like Bersabeh, my wife and I did. And you had some vacation plans and you had some business plans. And maybe you were ramping up through the first quarter. By the way, congratulations. You made it through the first quarter. Okay? And if you're an entrepreneur, then you need to be congratulated for that, because it was a tough quarter. False or true? It was tough. And so you made it. You're here. But what the heck happened? Because you had all these big plans and maybe your finances were on track and your family was on track and your workout was on track and you were keeping your commitments. And all of a sudden, life had different plans, didn't it? It's like the great Stoic philosopher Seneca stated, you should assume that fate is going to do every single thing within her power to basically keep you off kilter. And so, what are you doing? Because you're having to readjust. You're having to adapt. You're having to try to figure out a way to get through this storm. Now, you'll get it if you do certain things correctly. But here's what you have to understand. The greatest virus we are fighting right now in this world is not the coronavirus. Now, I got to do a disclaimer here, because I've been talking about this. If you follow me on Instagram, or if you follow me on my official James Arthurray page, which, by the way, Facebook just told me that we have to take the word official off because I have the blue check mark, and they're going to take the blue check mark away if we don't take off the word official. Go figure. Facebook has blocked a lot of our posts because I was posting long copy from doctors, experts, immunologists about Eddie Murphy. Man, you're a funny guy. I'm really glad to see you. I've been a big fan for a long time. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I was posting these long copies that were contrarian. Facebook is not blocking the negative information. Facebook and Instagram has both blocked me. Now, I'll let you figure out, blocked us in many ways to posting links and all kinds of things. Now, I'll let you figure out for your own self. I'm not going to go there. You can figure out what that means. But the reality is, if you follow me, I've been talking about this for the longest time. The greatest virus we're fighting is not the coronavirus. And here's my disclaimer, because so many people hear what I say and they misinterpret. They say, well, James says you should ignore the coronavirus. Never said that. James said you shouldn't stay at home and you shouldn't do this and do that. Never said that. What I said is that the greatest virus that we're fighting right now is not the coronavirus. The greatest virus is a mental virus. And it's insidious. And it passed like this. Boom, 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 boom. From Iran to China to Italy to the U.S. and on and on and on, and Canada. It's all over the world. Now, I resist being a little over dramatic. But let's face it, guys. Let's call this World War III. Okay? And I know that's a little intense, but the fact is, depending on how old you are, the individuals who are growing up in today's world today, who are young, and they're in their formative years between birth and 13, according to psychology, are never going to know a world where the entire world cannot be shut down in a heartbeat. They're never going to know a world where that couldn't happen. Just like if you go back to September 11th in the United States, those individuals who were in their formative years between birth and 13, during the time that the Twin Towers came down and the United States of America got attacked. And I'm not going to go there either. But let me tell you something. I have some very strong opinions on that, and I have a lot of experts and a lot of data to back me up on my perspectives on that. But irregardless, that's not even a word, irrespective of that, the individuals who were in their formative years will never know a world where the U.S. could not be threatened on its own soil in some way, shape, or fashion. Okay? And guess what? Life changed forever. Now, if you're one of those people who's waiting for this to get over so things will get back to normal, let me just say to you with all love and respect, get over it. Because it's not going back to normal. It's not. Let's go back to September 11th. At September 11th, what happened? Homeland Security, TSA, travel changed forever. Am I right? We lost many of our rights we so-called thought we had, and we have people from all over the world here. So bear with me, because whatever happens in the U.S. happens to you as well. Because what we know in quantum physics, and we can go there today if you want, is that we're not separate. Make the world great. Make. I almost gave you my motto. The motto, make America great again, is horse hockey. And that's a technical term, all right? Because America is not a silo. We have to make the world great. And what America does and what Europe does and what Canada does and what India does, everything affects everything. And there's no separation. And we need to get that. And this is showing us how this mental virus and something called COVID-19 can spread like wildfire. And the thing that is spread by like wildfire is not so much the COVID. I mean, if you look at the stats, and again, follow me. I won't get into them here today. I didn't plan on it, if you guys pull it out of me. But the fact is, if you look at the real evidence, and you got to dig and dig hard. And I was posting it, but I got shut down. But the fact is that there's been over 150, last time I checked, 1,000 people who have already beat this thing. And the vast majority of people who get it and die, or almost all of them, are old, and I'm not being disrespectful, but the average age is 81 years of age, average age, and almost all of them already had compromised immune systems. They had something compromised in their immune system. And so consequently, here's the other thing I've been advocating, is it's not about avoiding a virus. It's about boosting and strengthening your immune system. Because a healthy immune system cannot be touched. It's an absolute fact that a virus cannot survive in an alkaline environment. No virus. And by the way, neither can cancer. My mom had stage 4 cancer. When I came out of prison in 2013, we got her on, and it metastasized to her lungs and liver. which, if you know anything about cancer, that you're right, Donna, the evidence does, the real evidence, they're not reporting the positive news because that's not sensationalized enough and it's not part of the agenda. You see, there are powers in this universe, my friend, that have a vested interest in keeping you in fear. Because people in fear are easy to control. People in fear give up their power. My mom had stage 4 cancer, metastasized to her lungs and liver. If you know anything about cancer, that's pretty much a death warrant. We got her on a full vegetarian diet, 100%, and now she's 82 years old. She's in full remission. Because cancer cannot survive in an alkaline environment. Viruses cannot survive in an alkaline environment. And so the point is, look, you've got to get rid of the mental virus because that's what's killing us. I have a friend who's a Harvard MD who went through Harvard Med School on full scholarship. And he's a really smart guy. I'm in contact with him all the time. Thank you, Christina. I'm in contact with him all the time. And he said to me straight up, direct quote, Harvard MD, he said, the fear and the stress, James, is going to kill as many, if not more, people than Corona ever will. Now, I'm not suggesting that we should be, laissez-faire. I'm not suggesting we should be imprudent. Not at all. Please get that. Disclaimer, disclaimer. What I'm suggesting is that we should focus on the right things. We should focus on boosting our immune system. Life is giving you a test right now. And life prepared me, Spirit, God, call the universal intelligence what you will. It doesn't care what you call it. It's got bigger things to do than to worry about what some little carbon atom in a mediocre planet in this vast universe calls it. Please. And I'm not being disrespectful, but are you serious right now? We get into so many arguments and so many fights around, it's got to be Allah. No, it's got to be Brahman. No, it's got to be, Yahweh. No, whatever. Okay. You can call the creative force Bob if you want to. That's not going to change what it is. And so the creative force has given you a test right now. Life is giving you a test to test your mettle, to test what you're made of. And what are most people doing? They're blowing it. How about you? How about you? Most people are absolutely blowing it. Why? Because they're getting sucked in to stress, fear, doubt, depression. There were 16.2 million people on this planet who admitted, these are just the ones who admitted they were depressed. And the vast majority of them are on medication, antidepressant medication, and this was prior to Corona. Now, what do you think that number has done right now? I guarantee you it is skyrocketed. Why? Because most people don't like themselves. And if you're alone today, life gave me a test by putting me in solitary confinement. I was in solitary confinement for a month when I first went to prison in 2012. And if you don't know anything about my backstory, I'm not going to take the time to do that, but I was convicted of negligence in a horrible, horrible accident. And I lost everything. But they put me in solitary confinement for a month. And I'm telling you, it was a 10 by 12 with a concrete slab and a mattress, a supposed mattress about this thick, no window, 4 walls, no pen, no paper, no TV, no radio, no books, no nothing. Me, the 4 walls, and God. Now, fortunately, I like myself, and you should too. You should like yourself, because here's the test, and you're being tested right now. Write this down. please take notes today. Because I get on a roll and things just roll out, and we're going to cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time, and then you can come back and watch the replay because it'll be here, obviously. But you're going to want to revisit this information, I promise you. But here's the test of whether you like yourself or not. If you can't spend 1 hour in your own living room by yourself with no TV, no books, no company, no music, no pets, no food, no alcohol, just you and you. Oh, and by the way, you have to stay awake. Sleeping doesn't count. If you can't do that for at least 1 hour, then you don't like yourself very much. Wow. And if you don't like yourself very much, how can you expect anyone else to like? If you don't like your own company, how can you expect anyone else to like your company? So here's a test, because here's what I know. I have studied the greats for my entire life. I've been really blessed. I've been exposed to I've had 6 major mentors in my life. I've had mentors in business. I was a C-suite consultant at AT&T School of Business. I was a national sales trainer at AT&T. I studied psychology and behavioral sciences in college. So I've had psychological mentors. I've had philosophical mentors. I've had spiritual mentors. I've had esoteric and mystery school mentors. I've been initiated into 3 shamanic orders, and I've been also initiated into 2 real mystery schools, not BS mystery schools. I've studied about every great spiritual tradition that's been on the planet, and I've done this for my entire life, for nearly 4 decades. And the point is this, is I've had a hunger to find the answers for life. And I'll tell you, the answers reside within. You know, when you can make solitary confinement a beautiful place to be, even though the environment sucks, you know, I'm not Pollyanna, I'll tell you, the environment sucks, the food sucks, the company sucks, the community sucks. That's a technical term. It just sucks, you know. But it's like one of my favorite quotes from the Navy SEALs. You have to embrace the suck. Maybe that's what you got to do right now. Embrace the suck. And it's not easy. It's not easy for any of us. And yet, you have this test. This will pass, because everything in this universe is transitory. We don't like that. You see, that's one of the greatest causes of human suffering, is that things are transitory. They don't last. You know, our ego self, our self-identity wants to hang on and hold on and keep things as they always have been and to make them the same. But it doesn't work that way. It slips through your hands like so much sand, and you can't hang on to it because it's not real. And so everything passes. Everything. All pain passes, all pleasure passes. Every up passes, every down passes. Seasons come, seasons go. And there's nothing that stays the same. And so this is your opportunity. This situation will pass, but let me go back and say to you, it's not going to ever go back to what it was. Mark my words. There are going to be social changes. They're already happening. Now look, I told you I'd shoot you straight. They're already happening. And they were happening before Corona. You know, I don't know how old you are today, but if you're a millennial or younger, then the research, there's always exceptions when you generalize. There's always exceptions. But the research about the millennials and younger prove that they have a high TQ, which is technological intelligence, but they have a very, very limited, even sometimes non-existent EQ, emotional intelligence. And very little AQ, which is adaptability intelligence. You see, Stephen Hawking stated that the true test of human intelligence is adaptability. You see, you've got to learn to adapt. This is your time. This is your test. This is your opportunity. Let me challenge you to take a hold of it. What are most people doing? They're binging on Netflix. Look at the crap, technical term, look at the crap that's being posted on social media because people are bored out of their gourd. Oh, let me post my dance off. Right? Please. You know, let me post a bunch of BS because I just need some attention. I don't know what to do with myself. I got too much time on my hands and I don't know what to do with it. Let me tell you what to do with it. You need to dig deep. In 2013, I came out of prison. I was in horrible physical condition. I had periodontal disease. I'd lost 40 pounds I didn't need to lose. I was homeless. 2013, 7 years ago. I was homeless. And I was alone. And I was $20 million in debt. I talk about all this in my new book, The Business of Redemption. I hope you'll pick it up. The subtitle is The Price of Leadership in Both Life and Business. Because we all need redemption. When I stood in the barren desert of Arizona, homeless, broken physically, alone, and $20 million in debt. Look, if you're broke today, if you're wondering where the rent's going to come from, man, I get it. My heart goes out to you. I will never, ever minimize that. If you're broke today, my heart goes out to you. Let me help you. I can help you. And broke looked good to me in 2013 because broke was $20 million over my head. You get me on this. And I had to figure out what the heck I was going to do. I was in severe need of redemption. Hence the title of my book. If you look at the word redemption, properly defined, it's to gain or regain something by paying the price. And here's the unfortunate thing that I find in my coaching. When I do my one-on-one coaching, everybody wants something bigger, grander, greater. Am I right? But they don't want to pay the price. You know, I was sitting across the table from a young lady a couple months back, my wife and I were, and she was wanting me to train her to be a coach. Because, you know, with all due respect, and I don't know, there may be some coaches here, but with all due respect, most coaches are not very good, in my opinion. Okay? If you don't agree with me, that's all right. I don't need you to have to agree with me. But, you know, most coaches are nothing more than accountability partners. And there's value in that. But a real coach and a real mentor helps you dig deep into the cause versus the effect. Because you see, every single thing in this universe comes out of the invisible. And quantum physics tells us that. And you can call the invisible spirit. You can call it God. You can call it the 0-point field if you want to use a physics term. Physics also has a term called the plenum. It doesn't matter, again, what you call it. But every single thing, space creates form. We know this. You live in a 5% universe. The Hubble telescope now has told us that the universe was created a little over or around 14 billion years ago. And with the Hubble, we can see all the way back to that singularity. Now think about this. About 14 billion years ago, everything came exploding out of this one singularity. Everything, boom. And within nanoseconds after this explosion, 95% of what came out of that singularity disappeared. 95%. This is science. Look it up. Check me out. And so consequently, everything that appears is only 5% of what exists. Now, where did it go? What we now know is that it's still here. It's called dark matter. And dark matter is all around us. You know, there appears to be empty space behind me in my office, but what we know in science is that it's not empty. It's pregnant with more power and more potentiality than you and I can even fathom. There's enough energy in 1 cubic centimeter of the 0-point field to boil every single ocean on this planet. Think about that. And that power is accessible to you. And that's what drives the universe. And that's what creates form. And it doesn't come from the doing, it comes from the being. And so I sit across from this lady, and she's wanting me to train her to be a coach, which I train people to be coaches, real, serious, down-to-business coaches, like I'm talking to you straight up today. And guess what? I told her it would take at least 3 years. And she's like, 3 years? I said, what else are you going to do with your life for the next 3 years? But you see, we live in a society that we want fast fame, we want instant success, we want the magic pill. And let me promise you this, there is no magic pill. You know, anyone who's telling you just download my swipe file or you know, follow these 3 easy steps to millionaire land, it's just not telling you the truth. They're not. It doesn't work that way. I mean, Dr. Anders Ericsson from Florida University is the world-renowned expert on what it takes to develop a level of mastery. And he said it takes a minimum of 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours. Now, let me just give you perspective on that. 10,000 hours is 10 years of what he calls deliberate practice. Every single 3 hours. 3 hours a day of deliberate practice for 10 years. And you can become masterful. And that's what it takes. Now, it's not just any practice. It's deliberate practice on how can I improve? 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 And here's the gift that God has given you right now. You have this opportunity. You can binge on Netflix and you can drink till your brains fry and you can eat comfort food and you can lay around on the couch and project yourself 1 year from today, and you're going to look back to this opportunity 1 year from today and you go, man, I blew it. I blew it. You see, my wife saw a funny post on social last night. It said, this time right now is the closest experience that millennials will get to retirement. And if you're a millennial, you're probably not laughing. And I'm sorry. But look, you know, just because we don't like something doesn't mean it's going to change. Millennials, listen up, millennials. You're the first generation in American history that is predicted you're going to make less money than your parents. Now, there's exceptions to that. But let me tell you something else. It's not about the money. It's about the meaning. Please get this. I've been saying this for the last 7 years, and very few people are listening. You know, we need to move from economy to ecology. And we think ecology is about the environment. It certainly is. But ecology is a bigger term. It's about harmony in our world and with our world. And we have an opportunity right now to do this. You know what's happening right now in our world? They've canceled over 200,000 air flights. Do you know how much carbon emission that has saved and how much our planet loves us for that? Do you know what's happening right now? China is the #1 producer of a carbon footprint in this planet. In the last 4 weeks, China has decreased their carbon footprint by 25%. Now, look, we would have never done that on our own. We had to be forced to do it because we're not smart enough to realize, people are afraid for the planet. Oh, I'm so concerned about the planet. I'm not concerned about the planet. The planet, check history, the planet has gone through 5 major extinctions already. And the planet's going to be fine. The planet's going to be here because, if we keep jacking it up, the planet's just going to flick us off into space, into eternal void, and it'll go right on. We won't be okay. And now, right now, we're making a shift. It's not going to go back to normal. Normal. Think about it. It didn't go back to normal after September 11th. Travel changed forever. Both are true. We lost some of our so-called, what we thought we had as rights. Now we know it's a well-known fact that they can tap your phone, they can tap your computer, and they're looking at you all the time. And isn't it amazing, Donna? Bersabeh and I, we live in Henderson, Nevada, which is a suburb of Vegas, and it's nice. We went out the other day. Now there's 2 levels of existence outside right now. We create an environment that they call in science, biology, a morphogenetic field in our home. A morphogenetic field. And that's a real thing. That's right out of biology. Rupert Sheldrake won the Nobel Prize for postulating that. But there's a morphogenetic field around every single city. Think about the morphogenetic field around Las Vegas. The people, the normal, Donna, is abnormal. That's what's normal. And so the people are in chaos. That mental virus is eating them up. And let me talk about that in a second. But the environment, Bersabeh said, man, it's just cleaner. It's just prettier. Already. In just a few weeks. After September 11th, they also, they can come into your house. And again, I'm talking to America here. And, humor me if you're from outside the country. But they can come into your house without a warrant. Because of terror, right? Because you might be a terrorist. Isn't it interesting that, and I'm gonna reel it back here, but I just want you to think. I want you to think, when we came up with the war on terror, we came up with the greatest war that ever was because the enemy is invisible and it never can be beat. Never can be beaten. Because everything is put into the terror slot now. It'll never be beaten. What a brilliant way to keep people in fear. And now we've created an invisible enemy that's going to jump off of someone else onto you if you get less than 6 feet from them. That's even scarier. That's even scarier. Are you with me on this? And so it never went back to quote normal after September 11th. And, now you can't even take a water bottle on an airplane. And mark my words, the new way of operating after September 11th became the new normal, and we just got kind of used to it. Well, it's going to happen here too. Travel's going to change forever. You mark my words. There will be some kind of restrictions, many changes on travel because of this invisible enemy. Economy is going to change. Economics are going to change. Social interaction is going to change. Bersabeh and I went and got some carryout from Cheesecake Factory the other day. And by the way, it wasn't cheesecake. Because if you're going to boost the immune system, you need to eat healthfully. They have a really great guacamole salad that we love, and we called for carry out. And I went to Cheesecake Factory, and she pulled up out front, and they were only letting one person in at a time. You know, and I'm sure wherever you live, they have the markers on the ground where you got to stay 6 feet away, which is absolutely ludicrous because you know, we go to Whole Foods to buy groceries and they got these markers we have to stay 6 feet away, but to get to the back marker to stay 6 feet away in line, you have to pass within, you know, a couple of feet of the people who are on the front markers. Please. And so, you know, we're a world in fear. And so my point is that social interactions are going to change. They've already changed. Remember I referenced the millennials have very little to any EQ. Well, guess what? This is only going to exacerbate it. And mounds of research prove that EQ and AQ, emotional intelligence, adaptability intelligence, are far more predictive of life and business success when you're looking at building a business, whether you're looking at building a relationship, whether you're looking about happiness and fulfillment. Adaptability intelligence and emotional intelligence are far more predictive of life and business success than IQ, intellectual intelligence, ever will be. And yet, what do we continually focus on? IQ. We're a world living in our heads, and our heads will mess us up every single time. And that's what's happening right now. Your head is creating fear. Let me differentiate here between fear and danger. Because danger is real. I mean, if a lion is bearing down upon you and you're in the Serengeti, that's dangerous. And you better get the heck out of the way. Okay? But worrying about your bills and worrying about your utilities and worry. You can't worry enough to fix anything. And fear and stressing yourself around a virus suppresses the immune system. Those are things you make up in your head. Danger is real. Fear, you know, probably 99.999% of the time is something you make up in your head. Are you with me on this? And it's a known fact in biology that fear and anger and stress are the greatest cause of disease. About 90%, according to biologists, about 90% and enlightened medical professionals, and I say it intentionally because so many medical professionals are so caught up in an old paradigm that they're not open to new information. You know, the Buddha said years ago, sometimes you're so highly conditioned in a lie that truth itself knocks at your door and you turn it away. And it's happening every single day. But in biology and the enlightened medical professionals, it's well known that 90% of cancer and other diseases are created through your emotions, your thoughts, and your lifestyle. And when you are buying into the media, please don't. Please don't. You know, I have been a huge advocate for not paying attention to the media for decades. And very few people listen to me. You know, sometimes people say to me, well, James, don't you have to be informed? And I say, yeah, you do need to be informed, but you don't have to be inundated. You get the difference? How many times do you have to hear about Corona to know there's a Corona? Once. And guess what? I never have watched the news. Not one time. Neither has my wife, Bersabeh. Hey, Bear, hear me? Yeah. Can you come say hello to these guys? Got a hot group going on here. Here's my major partner. who keeps me up when I get down, and I help her up when she gets down. Say hello.
Hello.
That's Bersabeh. You got anything to say to them as you hear me riffing out here?
No, I think you got it covered.
You think I got it covered? Okay.
You're on your headset.
Do what? Yeah, but I am always on my headset. They can still hear you. Okay. So anyway, you know, my wife and I have never ever watched the news. Not one time. Not one time. And we don't scroll through Facebook or through Twitter or through Instagram, whatever, and read that crap. We just don't. Why? Because no one is immunized. If you're constantly inundating yourself with those things, you're going to get sucked down the drain. I guarantee you're going to get sucked down the drain. And the only person you're hurting is yourself. And yet, my point is this. I've never, ever watched the news or read anything about it other than looking for the contrarian position, which isn't popular. I told you it's been taken down on 2 social media outlets right now. Go figure. And I still know about Corona. How is it I know about Corona? Because if something's really important, you'll always hear about it. You know, so do you have to be informed? Sure, you'll be informed. If it's really important, you need to hear about it, you'll hear about it. Someone will tell you. And in the meantime, you don't have to plug into toxicity, and you don't have to be inundated, which is going to suck you down the drain. And according to my Harvard MD friend, it's going to cause more disease and illness and death than the virus itself. Stop it. Please. Boost your immune system. De-stress. Eat healthfully. Let me give you a couple quick tips, and I'll jump out of here because I don't want to hog my friend Mike and Jeff's platform here. But hopefully this has been helpful. If this is valuable and helpful, then you know, just give me a comment, and you know, you can follow me. Bersabeh and I are doing videos. We've really ramped it up during this time. You know, if you go to my website, jamesarthurray.com, and opt into my blog, I'm sending out an email every single day to my email database that gives the facts, and it gives encouragement, and it gives inspiration, and it's free. So I hope you'll go opt in there and be part of our online community. But here, let me give you a couple quick tips. How do you boost your immune system? You have to eat more greens than meat. I said to you earlier, it's a proven fact, scientifically, medically, that virus cannot exist in an alkaline environment. Most of our diets are highly acidic. If you're drinking Diet Cokes, and if you're drinking alcohol, and if you're eating too much meat, and you're stressing, guess what? Stress, anger, and fear create acid in your body. It sends a neurochemical impulse through your entire body. Let me give you this. You know, one bout of stress, fear, or anger has a 6-hour residual in your body that suppresses your immune system for 6 hours. One bout. Now, on the good side, the flip side of that, one bout of laughter, joy, happiness, fulfillment boosts your immune system for the same 5 to 6 hours. My pleasure, Christy. Thank you so much for being here and giving me your attention. It's an honor. Boost your immune system. So you've got to watch your physical health first. Eat more greens. You know, it's just shocking to me. We go to Whole Foods and the shelves are empty where the pasta and the rice and the breads are. Absolutely empty. And you know what's plentiful? Produce. and yeah, it's perishable, but that's good news for me and Bersabeh because that's right where we go, the produce section. Eat more greens than meat. And this, you know what? You'll live longer, you'll live healthier, you have more vitality. Studies in the blue zone, if you're familiar, where people live to be 100 years of age or longer, prove that without exception, they eat more vegetables and greens than meat. What are you going to do with your life? Second thing in health is your mental health. You've got to de-stress. You've got to build the mental toughness and the emotional strength that will see you through, because it's not going back to normal. Look, the new research tells us that every single one of you here today is going to have to reinvent yourself at least 5 times over the remainder of your career, including me. And you know, it seems like it's really, really hard in your 30s, and it is. It seems next to impossible sometimes in your 50s. And yet, not liking it is not going to change it. And so if that's the new world that we live in, where we have to reinvent and adapt, then it's going to take a tremendous amount of energy to do it. Are you with me on this? It's going to take a tremendous amount of energy. Because if you don't have enough energy, you're going to break down. If you don't have health, you're going to break down. If you're constantly stressed and you don't have adaptability intelligence and emotional intelligence, you're going to break down. Everything in this universe is emotion. It's not intellect. You know, why do you think Wall Street crashed? It's because people emotionally got frightened and started selling. Those companies are not worth any less than they were 2 months ago. You with me on this? And the only reason Wall Street shows that their stocks are less is because everyone panicked. Physical health, mental health, emotional health. You got to exercise. You got to exercise. And, you know, Bersabeh and I normally go to the gym at least 4 times a week. Well, guess what? We can't go to the gym right now. So this morning, we got over here in our extra bedroom, and we just got after it. You know, and got a good sweat on. And that's going to keep you healthy and strong. And it also releases neurochemicals that make you feel better. So, health, make it number 1. Use this time. Use this time. Eat right. Avoid the temptation to binge on Netflix. You know, I have an online group. We just met last night. It's called #ProjectStayHome. And it's people from all over the world, Poland and Europe, all over the place, who get together, and we have these conversations like this every single week, once a week. You know, we've had this program for a long time. We renamed it whenever the #StayHome came out, but it used to be $97 a month, and we met once a month, and all sessions were recorded. And Bersabeh and I sat back and said, hey, how can we support people during this time? And so we downed it to $13.97, and we did that on purpose. $13.97 a month. We did that on purpose because we wanted to make it cheaper than HBO and Netflix. And it is. And we also increased the number of meetings. So we meet once a week now instead of once a month. We went from $97 to $13.97, and we stayed plugged in and we stayed connected, because here's the other thing that's really important. I told you socially it's going to change. We're going to have to learn how to connect, real, heartfelt connection at distances now. And, you know, we haven't been very good at doing that. That's why the Millennials and the Gen Zs they're not developing emotional intelligence. They're real good, you know, at TQ, technological intelligence. But that's not going to get you where you need to go, and it's certainly not going to see you through the tsunami. And by the way, this is not the last one. There's going to be more. We live in a disruptive world. I started off today. You know, one of the smartest guys on the planet, in my humble opinion, is Yuval Harari. Bersabeh turned me on to him. He's from the University of Israel, and he's a futurist and a historian, which is an interesting mix. But he says, hey, this is just the beginning. We're going to have to learn how to be happy and fulfilled with less. And, you know, if that's bad news to you, I'm sorry. But let me tell you something. You know, when I had the 7,500 square foot estate in Beverly Hills on Mulholland Drive, and I had a $10 million business, Inc. 500 company, and I had, a New York Times bestseller and all those things, and over $20 million in net worth. I had so much stress on me. And now, let me go back and finish my story. I'm standing in the desert in 2013. I'm homeless. I'm $20 million in debt. I'm in bad physical condition, and I'm alone. Well, guess what? Now, fast forward 7 years later, I have a really nice and modest condo, Bersabeh and I do, in Henderson, Nevada. I have the most amazing wife on the planet that I didn't even know in 2013. And I'm doing what I love. What's most important? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself right now. And this is what I've been advocating for years and years and years, and very few people were listening. But now life is making you listen. What are you going to do with it? And the first thing I decided when I was standing in the barren desert in 2013 is I had to get my head and my heart on straight. And so, being $20 million in debt and homeless, the very first thing I did is I went to my mom and borrowed several $1,000s and invested in a course from a teacher that I knew would help me get my head on straight. And people said, "You're nuts." My mom didn't, because she knew me, because, she's been around me for a long, long time. And she said, okay. She said, what are you going to do with this? I said, I'm going to invest in a course that's going to help me get my head on straight. Because when you get your mind right, you get your life right. When you get your heart right, then that's where things start to happen for you. That's my great wish for you. Listen, I've gone longer than I intended today. It's been an honor and a privilege to be here. And it's time for you to take your power back. Above my head, real quick, is a link. Bersabeh and I are doing an online web class tomorrow. It's absolutely free at 11 a.m. PST. And it's called Thriving Through Turbulent Times. If you're interested, please join us. And just click the link and you can enroll and grab your seat. And we're going to give you 4 actionable, specific principles to help you get through this time. Hopefully this has been helpful. Lots of love to you. This is your time. Be that person that doesn't stand a year from now and looks back with regret. Be that person that stands a year from now and says, man, I took advantage of what God gave me. Okay? Lots of love. Reach out to us. We're here to support you. God bless. Have a masterful day.